Hey Yardminers, ever wonder what is in the belly of a Compaq Presario vintage laptop? This is a Compaq Computer Corporation product of Japan laptop that missing its screen. Doesn't have a model number on it, but we're going to break it open and kind of see what it has to offer. So come along for the ride here. It is a Series 2810G. Usually we try to rehome vintage items. This one was just resting at the bottom of a box, didn't have a screen. Tried to do some research on it. There wasn't a whole lot there as far as sales goes. So we decided to break it down on video to share with you. We are going after vintage items more and more. Gold prices, as you probably know, have reached record highs. And nobody really knows where the top of that gold price is going to be. My guess is it's going to be around 3,000, probably a little bit over. My guess, and this is going to break a lot of gold bugs' hearts, a lot of precious metal guys and gals' hearts, but I could be wrong, and I really don't give a shit. But I think gold is going to lose its place as the preferred store of value, right? Which is what it is now with governments and people, rich people and not so rich people. And I believe that is going to Bitcoin because it's easily storable. Bitcoin cannot be destroyed. You can take it anywhere with you. You can exchange it effortlessly across state borders, country borders, across the world at 24 hours a day. And it has so many more benefits than gold does. Whether you agree with that or not, it's not important, but what we're doing is we're getting as much gold items as we can right now. We're taking the next 2 quarters to gather as many BGA chips, RAM chips, high gold yielding content, and selling that as much as we can, and putting our company's reserves into cash and Bitcoin. Cash is really just an insurance policy when we need quick payments, things like that. We used to hold a lot of gold in our company reserves, and we're changing that where I think it's very obvious to be changing it, but we'll see how it goes. You know, gold could keep going up to $4,000, and as long as Bitcoin is beating the growth of gold, which it has over and 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 over again, I think the trend will continue. And my instincts and my play to keep my company's finances as healthy as possible are going to benefit. Now that is a huge distraction and probably gonna upset some folks and probably gonna see it in the comments, but that's normal for some reason. But yeah, that was a huge thing to get into this big guy. Vintage equals gold. That's as simple as that. If you're not gonna resell it, break it open, extract the gold items, and then put the rest in with your other material for buyers. I'm gonna use the speed wrench. I'm gonna use the speed wrench once I put on goggles, which I always have a hard time finding goggles for some reason. Make sure to get your safety goggles on. Safety goggles. Nothing is ever where I leave it. Okay, pause. Take out the whole part of safety goggles. Edit that out. It must be my staff is messing with me. It's got to be that. It can't be my own incompetence. Okay, sunglasses will work when in a pinch, and I'm in a pinch. So, going back, using the speed wrench, I'm going to loosen up the corners. I love the axe and the hammer combo. It gets into some places. Okay, so you can see we really got this nice aluminum board and then the keyboard. Oh, it's a star bit, believe it or not. You don't see those a lot in the vintage stuff. So I didn't even pull out my star bits, thinking it was all going to be Phillips. But okay, yeah, there's 100% star bits on this keyboard. Some people call them star bits, some people call them hex. I call them star because stars are cooler. Yep. Okay. Putting on the safety glasses, everything's so orange. I don't even know what I was talking about. But keyboards, yes. I'm looking at it. We get so many more keyboards in that we cannot physically break them down. All of them, right? Just isn't possible. Ooh, nice hard drive. Chunky little hard drive. It's got great gold pins on it. On the other side, you'll probably see some BGA chips. I call these chunkies internally for my team. They know that they are not to break down any hard drives that are the larger SATA drives that go into desktops. I think they're 3-inch SATAs, 3.5-inch. We take all those boards off. But laptops, they have such precision screws, we don't bother with them. We just throw them right into the hard drive, that gets shredded. So the boards go with it. But the chunkies are internal jargon that I always recommend coming up with your own jargon, right? To communicate quickly with your team. They know to pull chunkies, this laptop size, because it's going to have better gold. Okay? So back to keyboards. Let's get as distracted as possible. Modern keyboards, plastic, have maybe a little tiny 2-inch board in them by 1/2 inch, a little bit of cord, and then you've got your silver trace acetate kind of film. I had a buyer that was buying them at about 20 cents per sheet, which is a great price. That buyer stopped buying them. I haven't been able to find that good of a price. They're just not worth breaking down otherwise. So I have a massive container of keyboard Mylars. Now you can just put or what kind of acid is it? Hydrochloric acid? Muriatic acid? Same thing. You could soak those and that would come right off, and then you can filter the liquid, and then actually I'm not a pro at this stuff. So there is a way to recover the gold or the silver rather easily. We are still saving some, but we just can't break them all down. The exception is keyboards that are vintage, right? You could stop here, list this keyboard based with the model number, and maybe sell it. Maybe 10 bucks, 20 bucks, depending on the model. Obviously, the rarer the keyboard, the better, or the laptop, the better. We're not going to do that here. It's just on an aluminum plate. I believe it's aluminum. Yes, it is aluminum. You could potentially just peel this back and take the Mylar out. It is obviously a better quality silver Mylar than the newer stuff. So I'm just going to put that in a maybe later for board pile, which we have a further breakdown pile going back to the jargon. So if I throw anything in there and the guys are slow, they'll just go into the further breakdown and be like, okay, he wants us to explore this further. It may be a test, right? I want you to test this to how long it takes to break it down. It may be I've never seen this item before. I want to know what's inside of it. It just goes in that further breakdown bin. So floppy drives, A drives, we don't break them down. We just pull them out and we put them in our drive bin or our gaylord. They have a price for that. Sometimes if they have gold pins that are sticking out the back, what I call A drives or floppy drives, they do have the little pins that come off. I'll crack them open with what I call a C-wrench. I know it's not a C-wrench, that's what we call it, but it's that kind of wrench. It's just easily trying to break it off. We'll take the gold pins, we'll put them in our dirty gold pin bin, and the rest of the drive will go in there with drives. I've never seen this before, right? I know what a battery is. That is a nickel cadmium battery that'll go in our laptop batteries. This is plastic with a little bit of that. I'm obviously not talking about that. It's this like compact power bank thing. So I'm starting to rethink that if it was a laptop base and maybe it was like a docking station base, but it has a hard drive in it. So I don't know. I don't see a motherboard. There's obviously a board in here. So maybe that is the motherboard. It's just so thin. I've never seen that before. Which is great because sometimes, you know, you get to thinking, oh, I've seen it all, and then lo and behold, you have it. The star bits. Pop this one open, take off this ribbon wire, just put it in there. I love flatheads when it comes to breaking things down. Oh, I see why they're popping up, because there's little star bits bottom. Yeah, flatheads are a must, right? I have one for leverage. I've got one with a chip on it. You can see it, it's kind of got an angle. It's really great for like grinding things or moving some ribbon wire. And then I have a precision over here. This tiny one, like little popping up batteries. I like my options with my flatheads. I don't think I need this anymore. There's not too much more dangerous things. And we are in safety zone here. I say that now, I'm friggin' popping eye out. Alright, got another star bit. And again, I've never seen anything like this before. It's an in-case small motherboard. It does have a battery. It's a small nickel cadmium battery. We had the disk battery, like almost every hard drive had. But we also have this battery, and I don't really know what that's for. It's rechargeable, but it's nickel cadmium. We don't make money on nickel cadmium. It's all cost to us. It's part of doing business. You've got to get rid of things the appropriate way, and we pay to have our batteries recycled for us, and it's just the way it is. So on charging docks, on laptops, you'll have these little hex kind of screws that mount the docking station or the motherboard or whatever it is to the back plane. You can get a tiny little bit to get those off, but what I find works best is what I call a C clamp, right? You just clamp and then you twist up or down depending on kind of what angle you have. I find this to be the fastest way, and if sometimes they are resistant to the peeling, at least it gets them loose so you can then unscrew them. Yeah, these are started to come off easy, but oh, there you go. So again, this is why we don't break down laptops anymore, especially the modern ones, because they're just, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. But with the vintage ones, you get the gold. And this doesn't seem to be a whole lot of gold. This was more exploratory committee here, and with this shell, it really comes a pain in the ass. But we're gonna muster through. All right. Seeing some ships that I have not seen in a long time. That's always fun. I am very much learning about ships. They don't really teach this stuff in school unless you're in tech or you do repairs for a living. Let's see. Oh, that's steel. You know, why would you know? Kingston 4 GB card. So a lot of these cards, people do want them. We have a little bin that we just sell them in bulk, just as huge lots. When the bin gets full, we sell them. All right, so this has got a nice Intel i486 chip. That is a CPU. Okay, so this has still got a little board on it. Kind of break this off, and then it'll be clean aluminum. But I'm at the point where I'm over it, so it's going in dirty aluminum. Because aluminum really doesn't pay all that much. It's so light. This is the motherboard. It's a double stack, and that's why it's not taking over the whole computer. They've really just kind of doubled it, which is really interesting. You just don't see that a whole lot. I guess that's where the card goes. We got some really fat IC chips, same ones that you see on RAM, vintage RAM. So I'm guessing it is RAM, and it's double-sided, just like the vintage RAM stick. So it's basically mounted RAM. I will take off that Intel 486 chip. I do like those, even though they're thicker and take more acids to get. I try to keep all the vintage stuff. I mean, that's why we opened it up ultimately anyways, right? To get the gold. Got some more aluminum. And if I can get this board off, well, that's gone. And that sticker off is now clean. Put it in there. And we've got another Intel chip. Ta-da. Okay, so it looks like it's the lowercase I kind of vintage chips, but even in the light I can't read it. But I'll definitely take these chips off, even the AT&T one in the back. Most likely they do have a good amount of gold in it. But this one says copyright Compaq 1992. That is the vintage base Compaq. I always was eyeing it and wanted to know what was in it, so I thought I'd share with y'all. And hope you enjoyed. Happy yard mining. Oh, I did want to show this. This is such a precision hex bolt that all I'm going to do is just like go in there and just lift it and just break it off where the screw goes through, because you can just easily do it. Now, so this is what we call the chunky. It does not have a gold corner BGA in it, so we will leave it exactly the way it is, and we'll put this in the hard drive boards, which is, I think, like 15 bucks a pound right now. So at least that's what our buyer is saying, maybe a little bit less with gold prices being what they are. And then the remaining of the hard drive will just go into the hard drive gaylord to get shredded. All right.